All right, this next section we'll talk about is the summary statement. So with the summary statement, there is a section in your workbook where it talked about the resume headers, and it talked about your header actually and the opportunity to practice and kind of draw out what your header might include and how that might look. And then at the bottom of that page in your workbook was for your summary statement. So I wanted to go over a few important points about the summary statement, and then I'll show you a couple examples and how the information is organized there. So with a summary statement, this is typically positioned directly under the resume header. I put on here, it could be under the objective, but I will tell you that it is very outdated to put an objective on your resume. So it used to be, and if somebody sees a resume that may be older that somebody worked on by themselves, they see the objective is to secure a position with Cardinal Health or whatever the organization is, or to secure a position as an administrative for a financial services company. So the objectives were very, very generic and they take up space. There's not really a need for it because the hiring manager, the recruiter knows that by submitting that resume for a job that you are wanting to work for that company, that you're wanting to apply for that role and get that type of role. So it didn't really make sense to keep those in a resume anymore. So you may have one, but I will tell you it may make your resume look a bit more outdated by having that in there. So what I would recommend is you have your resume header, directly underneath that you have the summary statement. So your summary statement can actually be a single statement. It can be a paragraph, and with that I'm talking maybe 2 to 3 lines really, or it could be a series of bulleted points. And I will show you examples of both of these with the statements, actually more of a paragraph or a series of bulleted points. It should focus on your professional background, what you can bring to the role and the organization. You're going to notate any kind of certifications or education that might be recommended in the industry or within that specific job posting that you're looking at. You're going to be very brief and you're going to be high level in the focus that you have. You're going to write the summary, and this is interesting to some people think, you're going to write the summary after the remainder of your resume is drafted. So you're actually going to, you could take some notes now or think about this and come back to this section, but it's always important to write this section last, almost like if you're writing a paper and you want to write an abstract. If you're going to write an abstract for a paper, you need to have the paper pretty much written and know what's going to happen so that you can give that high level summary or the abstract for it. So you're going to be able to take high level important points to write your summary statement. So you may know of some now that you want to use, but you're going to write that instead at the end. So let's look at some examples. So the first example is more of, I had mentioned the paragraph, and this is just 2 sentences you'll see. So it says Senior Training Development Manager with more than 16 years of experience in designing and implementing innovative strategies to effectively leverage human resources. Strong human resources generalist background with a track record of successfully driving strategies and initiatives. What you'll see below is a summary. It's the same exact summary, it's just divided up into bullet points. So it organizes that a little bit differently. Some of the other things I've seen that are pulled out for a summary could be related to somebody's education. So if they have a special certification or if they have a special educational background. Let me take a look at a couple of these examples I have on hand, and I will share what some of those are. So another example for the summary statement is pursuing a position that allows me to leverage my experience, skills, and education to develop successful relationships with clients. I am self-motivated, a strong communicator, and excel in developing exceptional work relationships with internal and external customers to achieve strategic goals. And another one here, this is actually an old resume of mine that I had done, and I have the summary statement is listed out and it's several bullet points. So the first one says self-motivated and disciplined individual who is passionate about education and promotes lifelong learning. Second bullet point is recognized by managers, peers, and students as a dedicated professional who provides a disciplined and focused approach. The third one is communicates with respect through open and honest feedback, recognition, and a willingness to offer constructive recommendations for improvement and growth. The fourth bullet is superb skills in time management to achieve results. And the last bullet point is master's degree in business administration. So those are just a few examples for you as to how you might organize that summary statement. And again, remember that this is something that you might do at the end after you have written your entire resume. You can always go back and look at what is recommended or preferred within the job description itself to help pull out some of those examples specifically in there. So you do have, I actually have one more example here. Let me switch to that. So this one is a little bit longer. I would recommend that with your summary statement, it not be this long. In the event that you're going for a VP or above type of position, this might hit the mark. So this one, so you'll see they talk about over 9 years of teaching experience, their leadership skills, their commitment to making meaningful improvements, ability to establish positive relationships with parents and coworkers, their communication skills, Canadian Red Cross first aid, those kinds of things. So what this person could do to shorten it is include several of these, maybe 3 or 4 of these, and the other ones they could include in a skills or core competencies if they decided to put, maybe there's a table where they do bullet points and say, develop positive or establish positive relationships with parents, and manage continuous student growth, and, you know, I've done this Red Cross, certified Red Cross, that kind of thing. And we'll talk a little bit later too about certifications, affiliations, memberships, all of those types of things and how you might include those as well. But when you think about your summary statement, think about the fact that it could be the one piece of your resume that is read. So if we go back to thinking about the 6 to 10 seconds that somebody might be shifting through your resume, those bullet points or those few lines at the top may be what catches the eye of somebody. So consider that.